people with food and resources, but I have to prioritize my children. You know what I'm saying? And what people just got to understand, man, the harsh truth is that, yes, human life is more valuable than animal life. And this is coming from a person that's plant-based. I'm caring as hell with animals, but at the end of the day, I know that a human life is more important than a dog life. A lot of y'all be trying to treat these little dogs like human beings. No, they are animals, but that don't mean you got to mistreat them, but they are still animals. You got to put, you know what I'm saying? They got to know their place.
Your baby shits and pisses all the time whenever it wants. What's the difference between my puppy, my dog? She kept comparing her puppy to my newborn baby. For TMZ, we demanded to move tables. We were moved, and that was it. That never happened. We never demanded to move tables. We demanded that service and the manager address the patron. The manager told me, and I quote, "That's awful. So you want us to pay the full bill? We're not. You're going to remove the service cost. We cannot control the animals, ma'am." And then he gave me a bill, the full bill, with the 15% service charge added on. To which I said, I am not paying the service
Rightfully
charge.
so.
Manager did not care. We paid the full bill. There was no discount given to us, nor did we ask for a discount. We paid the entire bill. Nobody at any time apologized for our experience. Nobody cleaned or sanitized the area in which the wee-wee pad was in while we were there. When you go to a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, at minimum, you expect basic customer care, basic hygiene. Those are the two things you expect at minimum. My feeling is none of that was there that night. TMZ at no point has reached out to me. I've had multiple media outlets reach out to me to speak to me. TMZ has not reached out to me. They at no time requested my side of the story. There's some magic eyewitness that was there and who saw everything, which none of that happened based on their account. TMZ, you keep calling me the woman. It's Giselle Cadet. Gizzele.
Put some respect on it.
Get it right.
Y'all check out her page, though. She stood on business. I respect it, dog. But yeah, dog, this situation is crazy. And, you know, I just find it so funny, man, that a lot of European descent people, white people in America, Caucasian people worldwide, they love to talk about people being dirty. Like, we always see little dog whistle statements of them making fun of people that eat with their hands. Oh, it's unsanitary. It's this, it's that. But these are the same people eating burgers, hot dogs, and shit with y'all hands. I see a lot of talk about Indians. They always trying to call India so dirty, so nasty. Like, if you just scroll through social media and see a post about India, but they be on their ass. You know what I'm saying? They could be doing anything and people talking about them just being dirty. But you will come across posts of, you know, grape crushing festivals where these people are stomping on grapes barefoot and nobody's saying anything. It just shows you the double standard of this white dominated society. And this is a prime example of, like, come on, bro, that shit was disgusting. And I ain't really see too many people speaking out about it. But could you imagine if there was a black restaurant or, you know, this and that? Even in 2026, man, a lot of this, the food is crazy. It's better to cook at home. It's cheaper at times. You know exactly what you're doing to your food, and it's healthier. We living in a time where, bro, food, it can be used as medicine or it can be used as your poison. You can pick and choose. Fast food is bullshit. These restaurants, you don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. It's best to just cook and eat everything at home. Now, the crazy thing is, bro, Keith Lee tried to tell everybody about this situation. He had a review on the restaurant, and
One may ask themselves, why am I sitting here empty-handed at home with no food, even though I just left Gordon Ramsay's fish and chips? Health reasons, safety reasons. Both of those are true. First, let's speak about the customer service. It was terrible. I called beforehand because they are on the Strip. They in the Link Promenade, and anybody that's in Vegas knows the Link Promenade from the parking lot is about a 20-minute walk. 15, give or take, if you're walking fast. I didn't want to make that walk without my food being done, so I tried to call. No answer. I walked in and immediately noticed the kitchen didn't look that clean. It was a bowl, like a metal bowl, full with 20 to 25 pieces of cooked fish that looked freezing cold. It was around open packages. It was around raw fish. It was around other customers' orders that hadn't been completed yet. It made me uncomfortable. I have a shellfish allergy, so my red flags went off immediately. I didn't want to get sick. Immediately.
and rightfully so.
I'm a very observant person, so I took that into note, and I went to order my food. I got 3 pieces of fish, some dirty fries that had like bacon and cilantro sauce on them, and a Biscoff shake. It sounded delicious. After I was done ordering, right before I got my total, I asked the lady, can you please make a note to the kitchen that I'm allergic to shellfish? All I wanted her to do was go tell the kitchen, hey, don't touch his fish with that lobster. After you get done touching that shrimp, go wash your hands because he allergic to it. That's all I expected. She said, no, I can't do that. Everything in here is contaminated. Those were her exact words. She said the bowls, they use the exact same bowls for the fish, chicken, lobster, shrimp. They use the exact same oil for the fish, chicken, lobster, shrimp. I'm not no expert, but that sounds gross. I said, okay, so there's no way that you can make an exception and not use the same bowl that you would lobster on my fish? She said, no, everything is contaminated in a very stoic and cold manner. I said, okay, what about chicken? She said, no, we're going to toss the chicken in the same bowl and we toss the lobster and the shrimp in. I gladly and kindly turned around and walked my ass out of that building. If you want to go, be safe, be careful. I don't want nobody getting sick. God bless you.
So that was 4 years ago now. Back in 2022, it's 2026, and his restaurants are still alive and thriving, but he's been being called out for unhygienic things, particularly by black folks. You know what I'm saying? The people they like to call dirty and uncivilized and shit. It seems like hey, it's always projection.
So I'm seeing a lot of people disgusted at Gordon Ramsay's reaction to the lady thinking it's okay for her dog to shit in the middle of the restaurant, but this is the same demographic responsible for the big stink. The Great Stink. Do you know what the Great Stink is? I will tell you. The Great Stink of 1858 was caused by an exceptionally hot summer baking 250 tons of untreated human waste and industrial sewage daily poured into the River Thames, which was also the city's main water source. Bathing in it, cooking with it, hello, drinking it, hello, like the intense heat and low water levels caused the sewage to fester on the riverbanks, creating an unbearable stench so severe it forced Parliament to suspend sessions.
Like I say, bro, England and all these other white countries, they get a good ass rep because, like I say, they like to call everybody else dirty and nasty. But you hear shit like this, and we would never thought about it. You never heard about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, man, it's the roles in reverse, man. They have great PR. If you control the media, you control the narrative. I tell y'all this all the time. That's it for this video, though. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on this situation, man. Would you be cool with animal coming into the restaurant you're eating at?
Oh, this is bad.
There's two of them.
Oh, so yeah.
There's another green one just like it right here.
Yeah, they on the court right here, man.
This same one?
Hey, sir, you're under arrest.
What did I do? Okay. Can you lock it?
They finally got him. Now, the only reason why I wouldn't want him to be arrested is because I want him to fight Shibu at that brand risk Aiden Ross fighting thing. And I want to see him get knocked out. That's what I would like to see. But if this isn't staged, it looks like it's real. Yeah, this is what you get. This is what happens when you go around antagonizing people. But he probably going to get bonded out. You already know how it go. Going to get bailed out. And he's going to continue with what he was doing. And actually, by him going to jail, this is going to raise his reputation. So he's really going to be like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I've been locked down. You know how when people never been locked up before, they get locked up before one time, and then they just act like they kingpins? Although I did see a record of him. He was locked up before, but he ain't like that.
Or is that too much to give a nigga that gave you his whole life? I'm just asking you questions. That right there, I know Drake would have loved that like Millie Bobby Brown. Bang! He'd been all in them DMs. He would have been in them DMs right there. But look, I'm just saying, what y'all think? Wayne?
Just when everybody thought that Rick Ross was apologizing to Drake to get on his Iceman bandwagon, I believe when he did that interview, it was all for French Montana. And I was just watching The Ville the other day, and he explained it in detail. But I think it was to get French Montana in the door with Drake. There's a trend on TikTok of people that are, well, women that are 50 years and up. They're saying, this is what 50 looks like. Check it out, y'all.
So let's try this again. This is what 50 looks like. I did one before.
Well, this is 50, you guys. I am 56 years old, and this is what 50 looks like. Well, I'll be 50 in August. This is this is what 50 looks like.
So there's a challenge going around of what 50 looks like. I just turned 50 in November.
No filter whatsoever. I'll be 59. Not 58 either.
She 59. She 59.
For 59.
Let me clear my
What is it supposed to look like?
60.
God.
Bruh. Oh my Lord.
Did you grab here now?
So look at him. Check the flavor. You have to look at the angles.
What's up, bitches? What's up, bitches? Talk to you.
Hey, look. You can't tell the ninja age. You gotta check a ninja ankles. Godly! Your ankles?
The type of shit I'm seeing. Bam boom. Like that boom bop. Ooh. Hot boom. What? Damn, hold on. Ooh, wow. What? Grenades.
We have so fly. Oh,
Oh, sugar.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
My daughter said he just gotta see him. He gotta see him.
Wow, what's up,
What's up, boy? You see you in, boy, I ain't seen you since you was yeehaw. Look up, boy, you grew up, boy. Look at you taking over the world and all of that. I'm so proud of you. This is the type of community that we once had that we need to get back to, because it wasn't just about your parents taking care of you. It was the village that took care of you. The whole village that was praying for you. Back in the day when your friend mother, see, I looked at him like my son.
Easy. I'm holding the right way. To the side. Which way is this fun? Oh, we in this. Come on. Can I get down this other line? You're good, oh, you're in New York, you're good. Easy, guys, easy. Oh, right here, right here. Oh, okay, left. Oh, right here. Easy. Right, all right.
I don't know. The Alzheimer's might be kicking in. If you lost your car, Jay-Z done lost his car. What? But all jokes aside, man, Jay-Z, I believe he probably safe in New York, just like the young gentleman had said. And I don't think Jay-Z's sweating that. I think he can box, bro. He get somebody them hands.
Yes, Mike.
This is the moment. Like Kendrick had his moment, you know. 6 months, he's the man. Then he's Super Bowl, he's the man. The thing about Drake, he used patience as a way of like getting back, and as you can see, I mean, whereas hip hop then, there's no Billboard charts, there's no chart, there's nothing.
Boy, you must have lost your rabbit ass mind and bumped your damn head. Does this sound familiar, Al? Like you don't think we watch interviews? You don't think we remember when Drake said that Kendrick Lamar makes fun of when he had Elliott Wilson interview? You don't think we know you were probably allegedly paid by Drake to hype up his Iceman rollout? You don't think we know this, ninja? Huh? And let's speak about patience. You got it twisted. Dot is the one with the patience. Drake is not. What are you talking about? So Rick Ross and French Montana did a versus battle. So when it was Rick Ross' turn, he has Drake featured, and he told the DJ, look, mute Drake's part. So he does this Apple Music interview, and he asks him, expound on why you muted Drake's part. And when Rick Ross responds, this is the reason why everybody thinks that he's trying to get on the Iceman bandwagon. Check it out, y'all.
So that's not trying to be messy. That's you trying to put on a show.
Let me tell you some shit. Me being a boss, you gotta understand. This French Montana right here, this is my brother, Drake. If you listening to this, homie, listen to me. My shine. I don't want to see you lose. No real want to see you lose. That ain't what it's about. This culture, this game, this rap shit, this ain't what it's about. I don't want to see you lose. Real just want to see real shine together, real come up together.
Okay, so here's what I feel like what's going on. The first thing he stated was, first, I'm a boss. French Montana is signed to Rick Ross. Under Bad Boy, I don't know how they deals is structured, but that's the way it goes. So if French Montana and Drake was cool at one point, it would behoove French Montana to try to get on that Iceman bandwagon. And if Rick Ross reaps any benefits from French Montana and his deal, y'all know how these deals be structured. Somebody signed to somebody and they get a lot of the money from that person. So it's like Rick Ross is telling him, look, French Montana ain't got nothing to do with what we got going on. You can still be cool with French Montana
as long as you let him get on that Iceman. You need some of that Iceman money, homie. You need some of that Lucian Grange. Starving over here.
Third thing, it sounds like Rick Ross is trying to give Drake like a lesson on the culture. We want to see everybody eat. That shit you was doing, keeping all the bread for yourself. And if you do put anybody on it or feature the stimulus package, what y'all call it, you are getting majority of the money. We don't rock like that. That's what it sounds. It sounds like he's trying to give Drake a history lesson as well, or a lesson on the culture.
And when I said that on stage, I let DJ Nasty call that shit out. Whatever we gonna do, DJ Nasty, you let me know. Okay, we doing Aston Martin minus the Drake vocals. And when I said that, wherever homie at, look, Montana still put you on 1,000.
Yeah, shout out to Drake.
Is it me, or does it sound like Rick Ross is slurring his words? I hope you ain't doing nothing you ain't got no business doing. But at the end of the day, everybody's chasing the bag. Drake, you're right. You don't have any friends. You're getting a huge bag from UMG, and other artists want parts of that. So, you being the stimulus man back in the day, when everybody gets an alert that UMG is pouring back into him so they can recoup their money, they're going to want to be part of that. So, fuck!
Oh, damn. Such a face. You did it.
Most of the Orchard bands finish the job. The Orchard.
You're doing a very similar, almost identical act. He described himself as an incel, right? And so he would provoke them, they would get irritated, he wouldn't leave their presence, he would continue the harassment, and then he would pepper spray them, right? And even though these women, some of these women initiated the attack by slapping him, he pepper sprayed them, and they still got him with assault with a deadly weapon.
A man walks up to unsuspecting women and terrorizes them with shouts of insults, and much worse. When they ask him to go away, he does the unthinkable, pepper spraying them right in the face.
Wow. 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 I'm speechless. I am speechless. Now, what I would like to do is figure out whether these two guys are related or not. Why do Chud the Builder look up to this guy, and why is he copying his movement? What message are they really trying to convey besides they hate people? That's just what it is.
Hey, yo, brother, you mind if I step up? No, get out. Get out there. All right. Who are you? What? Who are you? Who I'm with? Who are you? You asked me who I am? That was in a rude way? No, I'm just asking what's your name? Jit, Ego. Hey, nice to meet you, man. Thank you guys for coming.
No, y'all don't give a fuck about me.
Yeah, for those that don't know what just happened, that was the streamer for Dickhead. And Offset was standing on the podium, and Offset security, or whoever he was, said, "You can't stand up here, bro. Don't get up next to Offset." Flash said, "Thank you for coming to my club." Well, if y'all niggas don't get y'all money up and y'all game, if y'all think because y'all have record deals that y'all the only people with money, these streamers are running laps around y'all. All that record deal stuff, that stuff is starting not to matter. Because the way to go is independent. That's when you make your real money. These streamers are dancing around y'all. That's like a movie clip right there. Thank you for coming to my club. I think I've seen that somewhere. Like that happened in real life. That happened. Like some guy just talking down on the shit. He's like, "Yeah, thank you for booking your flight on my plane." That's you? Yeah. Be careful how you treat people, bro. Everybody ain't who you think they are.
See, this is breaking news.
Yeah.
Aiden hit me up and said May 23rd. And I already had the stipulations about that before he even said the date. I said, $1 million after tax in the bank. And then I said, also on top of that, I want Asian kids to issue a public apology and give me my account back. He said I can 1,000%. He said 1,000% I can get the account back. I can get kicked to the I said, I want this done. And he said it's gonna be. He said I can't do $1 million. He said I'll have somebody contact you about an actual amount that you fair, that's fair.
Yeah.
Literally, I gained nothing from bringing all these out.
Yeah. Now he's locked up. So yeah, I hope you get built out. You gotta get Chud to build out. Because I really want to see this. But on the side note, remember, Chud the Builder is the guy that was concerned about all the people. He doesn't have any needs.
Don't cover your face,
and the reason why he signed up for Kick and became a streamer is because he needed to support his family. Well, that don't sound like somebody who should be denying that big lump sum that Aiden Ross was trying to give him. Also, if Aiden Ross is just able to get a Chud the Builder's account back just like that after they banned him for disrespecting black people, that goes to show you it's about who you know. And these people, they're know. And they can do anything behind the scenes. Say that they don't really care about us.
Leave it up to it, yo. We also got footage laughing in great detail. No, you're right.
We got all the keyboards.
I'm talking about it's connected to the fucking vine with the thorns and the red fucking veins and the fucking 3-leaf fucking leaves. Somebody look and smell and is poison ivy like it been for the last 40 years of my life.
Y'all got my back?
Don't shake on his hand like, damn, this is unbelievable how I can disrespect these people. And the women of these people, they still love me. That's the story. Black men, we must get back in power. Seriously. But that's the end of today's live. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you
Give him one.
They said there were, of course, no messages from Donald Trump on Sunday about Mother's Day. Instead, he was posting photos of the reflecting pools and some Indian AI, the Peter Blue below to it. He's posting videos of Iran from early January for reasons that are clear. He's posting videos of Israel's foreign ministry. Crazy. He also gave an interview that was posted this morning from some far right-wing media entity that I never heard of, where Donald Trump didn't even remember that he and Elon Musk were talking about exposing all of the gold and Fort Knox and returning it to the people. He's like, I remember that. What's the whole Fort Knox thing that I said? Donald Trump also said that babies get these massive vaccines exploded into, I don't even know what the heck this guy is talking about, that he's bragging that I stopped 8 to 10 wars, the economy's never been better. Donald Trump has also sent his stooges out to the various corporate news networks this morning to do the morning trade, and they're all out there saying, you know, we expect right around the corner for there to be 6% GDP growth. Everything's going to be amazing. And if it isn't amazing, it's going to be the fault of the blue states. They're going to be the ones to blame for it. And the only reason why former President Biden created all of these jobs is because the illegal aliens got all of the jobs. So there wasn't really a manufacturing boom. It was all the illegal aliens. It's just lie after lie. Oh, and then Sebastian Gorka, you know, this far right-wing extremist, in my opinion, he gave an interview and he said, well, why didn't the Iranians responded or surrendered or backed down? And Gorka, who's one of Donald Trump's top people, as dealing with international affairs, which is absolutely horrifying. He said, the reason is because we've just been too effective in the war. We've been too successful. And because we're so successful, Iran doesn't even know, who their leadership is. And is this person the leader? Is that person the leader? So it takes them really long for them to get back to us. I mean, it's just lie after lie while the American people are suffering on this catastrophic Sunday. Thankfully, it is Mother's Day where we get to spend time with our families and reflect on the backbone of our families, our mothers. Happy Mother's Day to all. So you just see the behavior of this sick and disgusting regime. Let's go through it one by one, and I'll show you what the Iranians are posting this morning, and I'll show you the Trump regime's responses. So one of Iran's top leaders, the spokesperson for their National Security and Foreign Policy Commission in the Parliament, the spokesperson for one of their top leaders, posted the following.
Got a little bit out of comfort zone, during the filming of this role in this character, I got overbreath, like an American slave, I got struggle, I sober off.
Jesus, you look great tonight. How hard was it for you to change your accent?
As a little boy from my I struggle with the dialect, right? But you really get the color talk, but it's quite astonishing way. To say the least, I put it on.
Drewski has somehow managed to offend Britain. Every drama scene in London, all he really did was put on a British accent. His latest skit, British actors are taking all the roles, worse because it's ridiculous, but also close enough to something people have been saying for years. Drewski plays Samson Dubois, a fictional British actor from Manchester, who somehow keeps getting cast in every serious Black American role possible. Slave film, British street drama, award season interviews, fake entertainment news ambushes. It's basically Hollywood's black prestige drama machine turned into one absurd character. And because the internet has no chill, people immediately started naming names. Damson Idris was the obvious one. He played Franklin Saint in Snowfall, and a lot of American youth were shocked when they heard his real voice.
In the morning, I stick to my lovely British roots. Oat milk, sugars. Other times I'll do a green tea, sometimes I'll do peppermint teas, a little bit of honey in there. If I'm at work, I'll do a coffee, more specifically a caramel latte. And I get to eating. My on-the-go breakfast is, majority of the time, it's oatmeal, maybe like some berries. I try to stay healthy when other people are watching. At home, I'm a maniac. Eggs, full-on English. Beans are very important. Bacon, sausages, Fritos, pork.
So when Drewski starts doing the intense American street drama thing, people instantly made the connection. Damson even reacted laughing, which says a lot. He understood the joke wasn't really attacking him personally, it was attacking a pattern. Then other celebrities and comedians reacted too. Six Lack basically summed it up by saying Drewski might tell a joke, but he'll never tell a lie. Jesse Wu joked that SNL could never, which speaks to how big Drewski's sketches are starting to feel. Kev on Stage was also part of the reaction wave, and plenty of celebrities were laughing in the comments. So this became bigger than a normal skit. Because Drewski didn't just make a joke about accents, he accidentally reopened one of the strangest debates in Black Hollywood. Why do Black British actors keep getting so many major Black American roles?
Drewski's skit and Black British actors taking over Hollywood has been frying. Well, not for the reason people think it would. The first thing, he goes, I'm from Manchester, but he's doing a southern Cockney accent. What? Americans, for the most part, can't tell the difference between those British accents. To them, it all sounds the same, unless they're like spotted or scalped or something, then they might hear the difference. And it always funny to me, I watched the video first on Twitter, and the comments, everyone was like, yeah, the accent's so good, how is he switching it? And this is a good accent. I feel like most British people can do like a pretty decent amount. We watch so much American TV, and we just co-switch it. Period. The other way around, don't think it's right off because Americans don't watch that much British TV. And see, when if you try to do one, it's always some like posh, good thing. Although recently, for the top there, I'm seeing the ways that people trying to attempt the new London accent.
Okay, so we don't talk enough about Black British actors playing roles in the American film, especially when people who go for those American characters. Now, so the argument about the taking of Siberia and I learned more about it in the country that my heart was in, which is the country. It has been something that I have been studying for such a long time. Good or low, there's somebody that I have been doing for a very long time frame, and seeing other figures that actors are not only talking negatively about Black Americans, but
Thank you, everyone. Okay, I know this might be the wrong channel. As I was saying, my husband has been serving this country for years. But he wanted to tell me serving. Also, why do you do these flowers? You know what? Someone's able.
This game is cool. All the sequences here. Wonderfully.
So begin. All right, everybody. As we are nearing the 500-day mark of Donald Trump's second term, it is absolutely crossing the Rubicon into bad-owned territory. The United States is a fallen empire. Many people are too afraid to say, but I am not. It is a fallen empire that is in the early stages of the time. We still are a hegemon on the global stage, and we still do have a very, very powerful military. But it is very important to point out that taking a loss to a country like Iran, taking a loss in a war that we started with Israel, not being able to get any political concessions from the enemy country like Iran, is a very bad sign for the United States, and kind of pierces that veil that invincibility the United States is trying to break around the territory. I'm not saying that the United States is invincible, but we tried to get off this war on the global stage of invincibility. Now we are getting lower and lower. NATO coalition is very strong under Joe Biden is breaking up. Our president is an absolute lunatic, and once more, he's crossing into masculine territory. And every single time he hops on camera, he has a major meltdown, mainly thinking towards women reporters. Every single time there's a woman reporter asking a genuinely good, sharp question, he starts to snap and attack and say, "You're a disgusting, disgraceful human being." And I think this is an important thing to point out, especially because of what today is. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I genuinely appreciate every single mother out there, and father, for the happy day as well. It's something that my mother instilled upon me from a very, very young age, are the aggression, sometimes microaggressions that women go through in the workplace. I wrote this post on AdamHoffler.com. You should check it out. It's about my mom's story, and it's about Mother's Day overall. My mom had me at 15 years old, if some of you don't know. And at age 32, she ended up getting her PhD. So while raising me throughout her teens, 20s, 30s, she got her PhD and now owns a business in which she trains leaders across the globe. But she studied a lot about women in the workplace, about mothers in the workplace, and even wrote her dissertation about that. And all of the things that my mom taught me about when I was growing up are now manifesting in the President of the United States. The sexism, the meeting, women reporters constantly talking down and saying they're a disgrace or they're obnoxious. The same exact things my mom taught me about. Let me read this post just to give you some context to get into the story. One more time, Happy Mother's Day. So it starts off, "I don't know how my mom did it, but she has taught me so much along the way. My mom had me when she was 15 years old. Rather than letting the world write her story for her, she broke through ceilings and wrote her own story. Instead of letting others' expectations and stereotypes define her future, she built one for herself, and now she helps leaders across the globe recognize their potential." So she, commuted to Chicago every single day while studying, constant sacrifices, while raising me and pushing past the limitations we quietly placed on young mothers. And she taught me about these things. I remember she told me about a work trip a while back when I was a kid that she could have gone on. It was a very important one. That was a great opportunity for anybody that was early career in the workplace. But they skipped over her and said, she has a son. She probably won't have the time, and she won't be able to. And they ended up, skipping over her and picking some, coworker that actually had a kid anyway. This guy was also a father, and she taught me about the unconscious biases that can happen in the workplace that are unintentional. These people weren't ill-intentioned. They were actually trying to help my mom, but in doing so, they were making assumptions that weren't very true. My mom was, very, very well equipped. The same thing with applying to grad school. She told me that when she went to go apply to grad school, she got the advice from a bunch of people to remove the fact that she was a mother because people thought it would make her a weaker candidate. But in her mind, that's what made her a stronger candidate. She learned more about timing, how to be gritty in certain situations. So watching my mom navigate those barriers shaped a lot of how I see the world. I talk about this story more. You can check it out on It talks about how I was 23. She was an 8-year-old kid. It's just hard for me to comprehend. By the way, my mom and dad are still together. My dad is still living with my mom, still in the story. He was 16 or 17 when they had me, so they were both in high school. But the story is not just about my mom. I want to give a happy Mother's Day to the infinitely loving mothers who have fought uphill battles to get their children to be better in life. The children are incredibly grateful for doing. Even if life moves too fast for us to express it every day, here for me, your sons and daughters, we love you. Okay, beyond all of that, let's return to the dark, dirty reality of the way that our president is currently treating reporters and the people around him. I think this is very, very important to highlight. when Rachel Scott, a reporter from ABC, begins to ask Trump about gas prices and why they're soaring, he demeans her, later on calls her a bitch.
Probably don't see here, but I did. And you walk down this pond, if you only walk down here, says it better than anybody. They had to take a reference for 12. That's why the flop is going to have like that. That's the expression. Like that. And that's not because great people, not a filthy gap. That's that. That's the question. You're fixing up. If you reflect this pond, there's a Lincoln Memorial, the large Stefan meeting, and you say, why are you fixing it up? Because you can understand their expanding better than I can, but I don't know how.
What does that even mean? You can understand dirt better than I can. This is all unhinged because we're questioning my second part. Why focus on these projects when gas prices are soaring? That second part is pretty important, but he intentionally leaves that out. He later on, also a bitch, kind of mouths it as he walks away, doesn't pick up directly into the mics because he won't have to say. Oh, he literally points, you can see it, and says, she needs a bitch. Those are big words. Wow, it's just insane to say that. Everybody involved in this situation should have their political career ruined in one way or another. Senator Mark Lee Mullen should have his political career entirely ruined. And so should Donald Trump for engaging in this type of this chaos. I mean, check this out. It took me 2 seconds to find a quick compilation of Donald Trump attacking female reporters, thanks to called activism for putting it together.
Be quiet, listen. You don't listen. You never listen. That's why you're second rate. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. Fake news. NBC is going to have other things.
I'll never forget watching him lash out at a reporter in real time in the Oval Office, saying you're a terrible person, a terrible reporter, a terrible human being. Like, he was going for the jugular. It's a jab with this reporter deep down. And she asked about Ukraine, I believe. It was a question about, hey, are we going to be supporting Ukraine in this manner? And it just starts speaking. If you're not able to answer a simple question, someone you think is a second-rate reporter, then just get out of the office. Shouldn't be the president of the United States. And that brings me back to this Mother's Day framework that I was just talking about. It's not even about being woke. I don't like when people try to say that this is wokeness or I'm trying to be feminist. This is just the reality of how it works. Older men in power try to silence younger people, and younger men and women, because they don't want the younger people pushing back against the status quo. It's on the younger people to say, F that, let's continue to fight. I understand that a lot of people diversity, a lot of people are, boomer generation, millennials, Gen X, all this. And I'm not talking about you when I say that we're pushing back boomers, because you guys are on our side. There's this type of sterling right beginning neo that is in power. People like Donald Trump, people like Ronaldo Rivera. No, the same say status quo, the benefit of that. And we say, F that, we're going to play. I love you. We'll see what happens with you. We probably upgraded our camera, we're upgrading our microphone, we're going to move, we're going to like so on with new show, new format. And this Matt King is now reviewing stuff.
She keeps saying, please, man. So no, it's like, please,
Got some legs crossed. Legs crossed. I need enough.
The drawbridge is almost open. Keep control of those dragons.
Ooh, gotta go. Shit. Julia, that's enough. Now you being annoying. No, you. Yeah, no. I'm about to die. I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, shit. Thank you, Becky. Yeah.
Time to acknowledge
She spilled my coffee and I pushed her over there, so now she mad because she can't lay next to me.
America first and the Republicans. That's what she gonna do, and that's a tough pill to swallow. It's true.
I already plan on doing like Charles.
Government
Going bubbles in it for the bathroom.
compromising vital U.S. intelligence interests with history. Our national security advisor, Mike Law, from Florida, who was chosen by C.C. Wiles, he was using an encrypted messaging app to talk to the Prime Minister of Israel. That guy should be in jail. That guy should be under the jail. They didn't even get rid of him. They took him out of that position and they gave him a new job as the UN ambassador. How is that America first? You're literally compromising national security at the highest levels. Mike Waltz was in constant communication with Netanyahu, lobbying on behalf of Israel as the national security advisor to the White House, to the President of the United States. And they didn't even fire him. Dan Bongino, his phone was on Israel time, and he was the deputy director of the FBI. This is who is in our government under the Trump administration. Who are the Republican leadership in Congress? From our side, well, it's Lindsey Graham. It's Randy Biden. It's these kinds of Republicans. Whereas on the Democrat side, Rob Biden is. You have Democrats that were trying to get a memorandum passed that we wouldn't give Israel 2,000-pound bombs. That we would review whether they were using the weapons we give them in accordance with the laws of war so that we could stop sending them every class of weapons that they're asking for. And it was enormous pressure inside the Biden administration to shut down the war in Gaza. We confronted Iran but never attacked them under Biden. We tried to negotiate a deal with Iran. And now there's 20 Democrats that want disclosure on Israel's nuclear arsenals. Many people acknowledge, I mean, let's just say it, the Democrats are more America first on foreign policy than the Republicans right now. All of that is true. Everybody knows the Republican Party is the Israel-controlled party. And it's not to say the Democrats aren't pro-Israel, because they are. And it's not to say the Democrats aren't influenced by it, which they are. Of course. Jonathan Greenblatt at the ADL is a Democrat. The SPLC is a very organization in that with the Democrats. The Democratic Party is a very institution and very pro-Israel historically. But let's be honest. Their electorate is 80% against Israel. And there is a progressive faction of the Democratic Party that wants to restrain Israel. And maybe not necessarily always for the right reasons or exactly the same reasons, but it's way more than you can say about the Republicans. And for that, you got to give them credit and say, you know what? Maybe that alone deserves a vote. Because this war in Iran, everything else, it's a really big deal.
Think about everything the Republicans have done to this country since they've taken power in 2025. They have blackballed Harvard and Yale and Columbia and UPenn. All the Ivy League universities have been basically shut down by the Department of Education unless they accept a pro-Israel curriculum in their Middle Eastern Studies departments. And unless they shut down all pro-Palestine organizations and protests. And they won't even admit people at Northwestern University unless they undergo some kind of pro-Israel re-education. That is what is happening under Republican rule.
So they don't want me to start playing the third person
schools and universities.
again.
The State Department, Department of Homeland Security, they're reviewing 50,000 visas and visa holders, looking at their social media. If you have ever criticized Israel, they're going to revoke your visa or maybe even denaturalize you as a citizen.
Whoa, like, did you hear that, guys? Like, that's crazy, right? And I'm not even gonna lie, like, this kind of, like, scares me up as well, because, as you guys know, I make multiple videos on this channel as well, like, criticizing this strange relationship with, like, the United States and Israel, so am I still allowed to say here? No, but all jokes aside, like, I don't even have to think about it, that says already enough, because why can't we criticize almost every country in the world? Like, even Trump himself is always complaining about, like, Chinese influence in our country, or, like, in the whole world, Western influence in our country or neighboring countries. We have to be worried about that, but, like, when, like, Israel is influencing our country, that's all fine, and the people who say anything about it, like, then they're suddenly, like, the bad guys. Are you kidding me? Like, what is this double standard? Maybe that shows you also, like, who's really in power, because, like, Brad has always used to say, the ones who are in power are the ones who you can't criticize, and that's exactly what is happening now.
Shut up!
Well,
nervous breakdown. Their goal is for you to have a nervous breakdown.
That is comedian Tim Dillon, a former Trump supporter from the 2024 campaign, criticizing and calling out Donald Trump and his administration for randomly releasing these UFO files this week in an attempt to distract you from the disaster that is Donald Trump's second term in office. They want you focused on weird conspiracy theories and questions about whether or not there are UFOs flying in American skies, whether or not there are aliens that are taking advantage of Americans, and God knows what else they want you focused on, because they don't want to talk about this illegal and disastrous war in Iran that Donald Trump is raging, that is driving up prices on everything in this country, that has gotten 13 American service members killed. For what? For nothing. They don't want you focused on the Epstein files. They don't want you focused on the economy. They don't want you focused on corruption in Washington, as Donald Trump has increased his net worth by $4.5 billion. So they are trying to get you to be so detached from reality, so detached from your day-to-day lives and how they have stripped you of your dignity, how they have made it harder for you to put feet on the table, start a family, buy a house,
I'm not getting
have a goddamn hobby to take a vacation. They want you to...
After spending much of the day at his golf course in Jupiter, Florida, the President of the United States abruptly disappeared from the course just after 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. Without warning or explanation to the press traveling with him, he was quickly ushered into his presidential motorcade, with a reporter noting he was wearing a white shirt and a baseball cap when he was last seen through the window of the car before it pulled away. And with his health visibly declining for months now, speculation immediately began to swirl.
What Jeff did with this post is he thought that he could. What bothers me the most about sports car influencers is how out of touch with reality they are. They basically live inside a bubble and pretend they are like you and me. Except that they're just pretending and they don't actually understand what's going on. What Jeff tried to do with this post is signal, I understand, except that he does not understand what's going on. So here's the problem. He does not understand what's going on. So here's the problem. At this point, there are only 3 types of people who will actually buy wax. And tell me if you fit into one of these 3 categories.
I'll have to if it's only 3.
Breakers and gamblers. If you're a collector, you already know the sales of wax because it's completely insane.
You're a rock
Prices have
collector.
gone
I
absolutely
guess that make it a
ludicrous.
gamble.
And that's
The
the
collectors
problem. Not
overwax
just for you, the collector, but for the entire hobby. Because part of the fun of
If
collecting
you don't open the
is actually
shit, how the
ripping
fuck
wax.
are you gonna buy the
As for
fucking car?
Jeff, he thinks the solution is to manufacture a customer-friendly set price. Except, what does that really mean? This is a box of 2025 Topps cards, right? So this is from
$35,
last year. Now,
$59
this
at the
has
most.
28 cards in it. So what should it cost you?
$35.
Realistically, if this is a customer-friendly price, this should only cost you $10.
$10.
What does it actually cost? The
Nah,
answer
this
is
America, it'd be about $40 just to go
Sounds
outside.
crazy to you? Now, here's a hanger box. Let me show you. So this is 2026.
That should be like $15.
There are 59 cards in here, so it should cost you $15. But what does it really cost? The answer is $25. And this is part of the problem.
I ain't paying
Jeff
$25 for no
doesn't understand.
motherfucker.
This is the difference between inside voice and outside voice. What Jeff did with this post is he thought that he could get you to go, oh, Jeff cares. And the truth is, Jeff is trying to run a business. And the last person that he wants to call out is Topps and Fanatics. Because the problem isn't breakers. The problem isn't flippers. The problem is Topps and Fanatics who are driving up the price of these boxes so far above what's normal and reasonable because the only people they care about are the gamblers. They don't care about you, the collector. Because if they cared, then they would want to actually grow the real hobby, not the casino. And that's the real story underneath this whole post, which is that Michael Rubin bought Topps because he saw a golden opportunity to turn a sleeping little collectible into the biggest casino in the world. And why are casinos great? Because the house always wins, which means that you always lose. The problem is that this hobby was supposed to be for kids, and now kids are losing. The only way for you to get one of these top-end cards is to gamble. That's it. I mean, there's no other way to get it because the cards are so expensive, no one can afford them. So really what you're doing is buying a lottery ticket. You're saying, okay, I will, and first of all, just for everybody who is new to this hobby, if you buy one of these boxes, you are not eligible for the $1 million bounty card. You cannot get them. The only way to get a $1 million bounty card is if you spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, up to $5,000 on basically a hobby box,
that you are really just throwing your money away because you're never going to get that value back unless you get the bounty card. And there's only one bounty card. So you just legitimately gamble. And this is why I had to make this video, because I'm like, why is Jeff making this post? That's the inside voice, not the outside voice, Jeff. Stop talking. We get it. You have Cards HQ. And here's what I want everybody to understand is we're in a bubble, a pandemic-like bubble. Again, I know it didn't take that long to get there, but we are running very hot. So what's the moral of this story? Because, again, what's the whole point? The moral of this story is that we are going to run into the same problem we ran into in 2023. Right now, everybody is doing well, including Jeff Wilson and Cards HQ, because the prices or the value of these cards keep going up and up. At some point, that has to stop. Like, I'm sure all of you understand that. At some point, the card values can't just keep going up. They have to stop. Even in a normal market, there's always something called a correction. Now, from the pandemic boom to 2023, that's actually what happened. Card prices went up like 400%, and then we had an 80% correction. The problem is that the 80% correction, which was a legitimate crash, the prices were still more than what they were pre-pandemic. But the problem is that that 80% crash pushed out all the people with excess money. Because they're like, well, if I can't make a quick buck, then I don't want to buy these cards. And you were left holding cards that were no longer worth what you thought they were worth. And this is the underlying issue in this hobby, which is part of the message that I keep saying is that if you keep believing that the cards are only worth what someone will pay for them, you are in big, big trouble. And this is the reason why. Because if you put into your mind this mantra, this brainwashing, basically phrase, the cards are only worth what someone will pay for them, it has to go both ways. You can't just go, well, the cards are worth what someone will pay for them, only on the buyer end. You have to do it on the seller end too, and most of you refuse to do that. I see it on eBay, I see it on Veriswap, I see it on Reddit, I see it on all of your channels. You all want to overinflate the price of your card, going, yo, but it only is worth what someone will pay for it, and yet you're not listening to what someone will pay for the card. There are a lot of cards that I would actually buy, except that the person selling the card doesn't seem to want to listen to an offer. So, is the card worth what someone will pay for it, or is the card worth whatever you say it's worth? And that's not a market. That's just called a flea market, and this is not really a, this is not the stock market anymore. This is your collectible going, well, I think it's worth X amount of dollars. That's not how this works. If you guys keep saying it's worth what someone will pay for it, because then it's not according to you. And this is where everybody seems to be getting confused. It can only be one way or the other. You have to pick a lane. So if you want to say the card's only worth what someone will pay for them, then you have to listen to legit offers. That's just the way it goes. And if you only get one offer in 6 months, and it's 50% of what you think the card is worth, then you're wrong. You don't know what the card is worth. If you get no offers, you really don't know what the card is worth. So why are you rejecting offers? And for you to go, well, it's 50%, so it's not a legit offer. How many other offers are you getting? If you get no offers, you're the one that's off. That's the moral of the story. Jeff doesn't know what these boxes are worth. Like I said, this is only worth $10. This is worth 15. Okay, so this is the basketball. That's it. 10, 15. What are they actually selling for? Way more than that. Which means Anybody buying them is wasting their money. Think about it. You don't have to buy one of these boxes for $40. You don't have to buy one of these boxes for $25. Just go and buy the cards that came out of it for less, because the cards are not worth what the boxes are selling for. And that's the problem. That's the bottom line. I want to thank you for joining me. My name is Doc. This is the channel that makes sense of sports, sports cards, and life. And I will see you.
Awaken to a world of wonder in Final Fantasy XIV Online. Take it easy and play your way. Whether it's fishing, crafting, or taking on quests. Play solo, or team up with your friends. Final Fantasy XIV Online. Play free today.
I'm convinced y'all want to.
Today, welcome to another episode of The Wayback Machine. Today, we're looking at a former MAGA who's trying to come to terms with things and reality. And before we go back in time, let's start with a clip of the current timeline, where many MAGA are just trying to act like they have principles, and this is all part of the principles. Let's take a look.
You know what's been bothering me lately? And I mean genuinely bothering me. I feel like millions of people,
you fucking
abandoned principles they claim to have mattered for years.
Y'all fucking high, man.
That it became clear.
Oh, you about to get let me jump in fucking furniture.
Oh, so now you're a Democrat. No. That response right there is actually the entire problem. Everything has become team sports. Nobody can even ask questions anymore without immediately being accused of betrayal. The second you criticize your own side, people lose their minds. I've seen it. I've seen it all over social media. And that tells me a lot about where people were never actually standing for principles in the first place. They were standing for loyalty. Loyalty to one person.
Okay, so we can read between the lines and see a lot here. We see someone who used to be MAGA, who promoted Donald Trump, whose viewers are turning on him, and so he's now talking about principles, almost as if they lacked them. So let's take a look at some of the principled content he used to make in the past. I'm sure it's nothing like, I don't know, talking about clothes. Oh boy. All right, guys, buckle up. What I'm about to show you should take every American to their core. And if it doesn't, you're either asleep, hypnotized, or part of the damn problem. President Donald J. Trump just dropped a post on Truth Social that nobody wants to talk about. Not the media, not the politicians. Hell, I haven't even heard any influencers really talking about it. Nobody. Now, you may ask why. Well, it's because he said without hesitation that Joe Biden was executed in 2020 and gone, finished. And everything you've seen since is clones, body doubles, robotic engineers, soulless, mindless entities. This is the actual post here. This is Donald J. Trump's social post. Okay, and so there we get to see that this guy is pushing batshit crazy conspiracy theories. These are the kind of principles I guess he's talking about there. But no, what's crazier is that his audience believed this and they clinged on to it. But as soon as the narrative changed, they turned on him. It's, whoa, boy. Welcome to the internet and welcome to 2026. But don't worry, he goes further to justify the whole thing. Let's take a look. Okay. Now, this is the President of the United States, the man holding freaking nuclear stuff. And it's saying a person that held the highest office in the land wasn't even real. And now
I'm asking the same question everybody else should be asking. If Biden was dead, not here, first off, does he mean literally or figuratively, Higa had always been running country? That's a good question. Now let's walk through it.
Okay, and so there we got some visibility into him walking out some of these ideas, and he thought he was applying what would go much deeper. About a year ago, he was able to call out the 4D chess that Donald Trump was playing with Iran. Let's take a look. Guys, we're watching a storm.
Airstrikes on Iranian proxies, carrier groups moving into positions, Red Sea attacks, and now whispers of the U.S. and Iran war echoing through the Pentagon and the media. They're blowing this stuff up, man. But what if this isn't just another regional dust-up? What if this is Donald Trump playing 4D geopolitical chess? I know a lot of people talk about 4D chess all the time, but I've thought about this a lot over the weekend, and there's a lot of reasons why I think this is happening. And China is the real target.
Okay, and so there you have it. As this never-ending war continues with Iran, as we're running out of munitions, as we're dropping our pants and showing our cards to China, this guy is obviously making a correct claim. This was all about China, yeah. But that doesn't stop him. 6 months later, he continues to go on talking about how Trump is just caught in the middle of all this and he's the victim. Listen closely, you'll hear it in this clip.
Guys, they don't need to meet you. They already own all of us. You're paying taxes for a system that hates you, begging for permits to exist. And your 2 paychecks worth of sleeping in a truck. Meanwhile, you're trying to survive. The elites just pulled another sleight of hand. President Trump just reversed course again. 1 week ago, he said we were done sending weapons to Ukraine. Now, after dinner with Netanyahu, he's back on it. Patriot missiles, defensive systems, more American dollars dumped into foreign wars that have nothing to do with you and I. Untaxed stuff. And if you think that's a coincidence, buckle up, because this entire video, I'm going to break it down for you. It's a web. And Trump is stuck in it.
Okay, so there you have it. The guy who's talking about 4D chess and clothes and how Trump is a victim. Let's see where he's at today.
The fact is, I haven't changed. I am the same man that I've always been. The same guy making the same type of content I have for 14 years. I still believe that criminals should be prosecuted. I still believe that corruption should be exposed, and I still believe government overreach is dangerous. Even though you have people cheering that on, which is absolutely insane to me.
Okay, and so here we have a great example for all of us to see this cognitive dissonance, where the guy who voted for a convicted felon believes that criminals should be prosecuted. Not only that, but he talks about corruption and overreach. I mean, you can look at all of the money that Kushner got from Saudi Arabia after Trump's first term, and that wasn't a red flag for him. But this is the challenge that MAGA is facing going forward. How do they make sense of it? How do they act like they have principles when all of the decisions they made in the past demonstrate that they don't? Let's see where he goes next.
But that's one thing that I refuse to do. I'm not going to worship politicians. I'm not going to pretend a billionaire politician is my savior. I'm not going to solely abandon standards because somebody I voted for disappoints me. I'm definitely not going to sit here and act like corruption magically disappeared because they're a different administration in power. That's fantasy. And as a father, maybe what bothers me the most is because my mindset has always been simple.
Oh yeah, what was that mindset? Grab him by the pussy? Because let's walk this out. Let's say you had a dog, and the guy you voted for was a guy who bragged about grabbing pussy. What kind of world are you creating for your daughter? Or let's take it further. Let's say you had a son. What kind of example are you setting for that son? So for you to come out here and act like you're all principled and you're a father, no, you're a sexist, misogynistic, racist clown. But instead of being real about things, you're faking the funk and acting all principled. Who knows, maybe it happens in the next clip. Let's take a look.
For years, people screamed, drain the swamp, expose the corruption. No one is above the law. I'm talking about protect the children. That was a big one. Always protect the children. Made movies about it. And movies about protecting children. Because that is inconvenient now.
Okay, so this clip right here really sheds light on this interesting idea that he himself points out. The whole movement was about saving the children, and yet they voted in Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, the guy who bragged about walking into model pageant dressing rooms. He used to go on Howard Stern and brag about how attractive his daughter was.
When a day daughter down on the Volga, if my Volga wants my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. Isn't that terrible?
By the way, your daughter. That's a piece of ass because she looks more voluptuous than ever. She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall, she's almost 6 feet tall.
In May, Ivanka described herself as a feminist while defending her father on CBS after a scathing New York Times article about his alleged negative treatment of women. Is there unending commentary on the female form?
No. No. I've known my father obviously my whole life, and he has total respect for me.
Please welcome the lovely Ivanka Trump. Still, even Ivanka seems confused when talk show host Wendy Williams asked about things the two have in common. What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that. Or this idea of draining the swamp, you guys voted in a convicted felon who was convicted for consistently committing fraud, bankrupted 6 businesses, and a court is easily able to demonstrate every action he did was fraudulent. Like, you guys on the right are the Bruce judgment of character in all of time, and it's documented. So stop acting so principled. But you don't have to wait long to see their true colors. Here, we'll see it in the next clip.
We'll talk about arresting the leaks.
It's funny how Anthony Fauci, Rand Paul, posted that he has petitioned again for the DOJ to press charges on him for lying to the government about his gain function research in Wuhan. And that has magically disappeared, and Kash Patel said that they will not be prosecuted.
And so while we see this guy trying to make this argument that he's so principled, he still hasn't learned. He's been lied and let down to over and over again. James Comey, Letitia James, the Biden crime family, Hillary Clinton, Benghazi, Obama spy. None of these things ever led to any charges. Those were all witch hunts. And yet this guy still is pursuing these witch hunts. But this guy is not ashamed of the clone conversations. In fact, he brags about it. He's glad that his track record is here on YouTube. You could actually go back and watch these videos on his